Okay, so let's look at this example again. So to tell us how many terms we have in this expression. So how do we know how many terms we have in this expression? So looking at this, we'll see that from here to here, this is one term. As soon as we come to the positive sign here, this positive sign tells us that this term has finished here. So this is one term. So the second term will go with traverse. As we're going, what we come across is a multiplication. Now this multiplication that will come across, it tells you that this 4, which is on the left hand side of the multiplication, and this minus 2, which is on the right hand side of this multiplication,
No, but
they are multiplying each other, right? But the fact is that these two signs belong to this 2.
Yeah.
Because they belong to the 2, so as they are, we can easily resolve them into a one sign by just multiplying them, right?
Yeah.
But what is actually happening here is this multiplication. The multiplication is the multiplication sign. On its left there is 4, and on its right there is 2. So it shows that we are still within a term. As we continue our journey along this term, we come across this sign is called off. So off in mathematics is just like multiplication as well. So this off also is also within a term. So as long as we have not come across plus and minus, the term still continues. So we'll continue traversing until we come to another minus. Now this times. So we come across this times, which is multiplication. As we come across this times, it shows that we are still within the same term. So we'll continue our journey until the end. So this tells us that there are just 2 terms here in this expression. And the moment we're able to distinguish or to be able to, demarcate the term into different terms, the expression into different terms, then it will be easy for us to combine those within the same term together, so that we don't mix them up with the one in another term. So it is after we have compressed all the elements inside a single term into a single number or fraction, whatever, that is what we'll now add it to the subsequent term that we'll have. So at this point, what we are going to do is now to resolve all the expression within this term into one expression. So here we have minus times minus. Minus times minus is what? Plus, right?
Yeah.
So we have 4 times 2, 3 all over 4 times 2. So what we see here is just multiplication of numbers, and we can easily cut them. We can use 2 to cut 4 here, 2 here, 1, 2 here, 2, and this 2 can also cut this one, 2 here, 1, 2 here, 1. Yeah, they can cut, because what we see here is multiplication. So at this point, after cutting, we have seen that all the elements at the denominator here, they have all become 1. So it is easy for us to now use this 4 to multiply 1, and that is going to be 4. That 4 multiply 3 is going to be 12, and 12 multiply 1 is going to be 12. So eventually this becomes minus 3 plus 12. So minus 3 plus 12 is what? Plus 9, right? So plus 9 is the final answer. Are we good to go? Okay, so now let's see another example. So in this example, it can be seen that we have like 5 elements here, and this sign minus minus plus belongs to this 3, which we can reduce to a single sign. Also, this sign minus plus minus belongs to what? So this 4. So all these expressions here. So what matters is this multiplication that we see here. The multiplication shows that on the left hand side 3 is multiplying 4. So this tells us that 3 and 4, they are within the same term. So we just do what? Put them in a single term. So now what we encounter from here is a minus. We don't have any multiplication in between. So it tells us that okay, this is the end of this term, and a new term now begins from here. So as we traverse along again, the next number we see is what? Multiplication, which shows that these 2 and these 4, they are within the same term. So we do what? Continue this journey until we come across this negative sign, so which ends this term, which shows that this term has ended here, and then another term begins here. So there are how many terms here now? There are 3 terms here, right? So because of that, we'll be able to reduce these 2 elements into a single element. So first we need to reduce the sign. So minus times minus times plus, so that's going to be plus, right? So that's going to be 3 times then minus times plus times minus, of course, number of minus is even, so eventual answer is going to be plus, which is times 4. Then minus 2 times 4, of course, is what? 8. Right? Then minus 1. So we can further reduce this 3 times 4 into what? 12. So this is going to be 12 minus 8 minus 1. And the final answer, 12 minus 8 is 4. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So the final answer is 3. Okay, let's see another example. So in this example, we want to know how many terms we have in this expression. So looking at this expression, how many terms can we see here? The number of terms we can see is, if we traverse this expression from here to here, so these brackets, we consider it as a single element, just like an element like 2 or 3. So we do not consider the expression, we do not consider what is inside the brackets. So what we consider is what? What we consider is the bracket on its own. The parent.
Inside the bracket.
Inside the brackets, we do not consider the number of terms whenever we are dealing with expression, except we are asked the number of terms inside the bracket. That's when we can now say, okay, this is the number of terms. But looking at the entire expression as it is, so we do not consider the bracket or the expression inside the bracket. What we consider is the what? Is the element outside the bracket. So this 2 that you see here is actually multiplying the brackets. Whenever 2 or any number is written before the brackets like this, that number is actually multiplying the brackets. There is an invisible multiplication here, which is multiplying the brackets. Also, if you look at this place also, the expression we have here is off. Well, so off is just like multiplication as well. Now here we have division, and here we have addition. So what we are going to look at here, how do we identify a term from here? So our term begins here and it continues to traverse. It comes across the off, so which means it's still within a term, and the tree and the division until it gets here. So this is within a single term until it now comes to across this sign, positive sign, which shows that there is an holiday here. Then immediately after the positive sign, the next term continues. So which means there are just 2 terms here. So this is how we're able to distinguish between these 2 terms, and with that we'll be able to solve this problem easily. So first is that we reduce every element inside this into a single element. So the first thing we do is to deal with the bracket. How do we deal with the bracket? We resolve the expression inside the bracket. So if you see a number like this and a fraction, and you want to add them together, the shortcut to go about this is to use this 2 here, the denominator, to multiply the 2 here.
That is the same.
Then the answer you get now add this 1 to it. So that is how you get. So the final answer will now be 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1, that is going to be 5. The answer is going to be 5 all over 2. And here minus times minus is going to be plus. So this is going to be 2 into 5 all over 2, or 3 divided by 2 plus half. So here now, these 2 can cut this 2 to open the bracket. 2 will cut. So once they cut, what are we left with? We are left with 3. We are left with 5 here, because that is 1. This is 1 here, and this is 1 here. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 over 1 is 5. Then 5 of 3 is going to be 15. So we are left with 15 here, divided by 2 plus 1 all over 2. So here is now going to be 15 all over 2. 15 divided by 2. This division is also can be written like this: 15 all over 2 plus 1 all over 2. So when we have 15 all over and 1 all over, what's going to be the final answer? So once they have the same denominator, what do? We add the numerators together. Since they have the same denominator, we add the numerators together. So it's going to be 16 all over 2. So the final answer is going to be here 1 and 2 here 1, 2 here 8. So the final answer is going to be 8.